Next on Live at 5, Bob's on top of the severe weather with first warning live Doppler. He'll bring us the latest on the storms rolling through the capital region.
And the spirit of Hudson could surface at any moment. We'll take you live to where the tour boat sank recently. And Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld makes a surprise visit to Iraq.
And Live at 5 is next.
And now, from WNYT, Albany, this is News Channel 13, Live at 5.
Tonight's top story, the weather. Thunderstorms and flooding are hitting the region.
This is News Channel 13, Live at 5.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Benita Zahn.
And I'm Jim Kambrich. Some parts of the viewing area haven't seen a bit of rain lately, while others they have up to 4 inches.
For the latest on the storms, let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist Bob Kovachick in the Weather Center. Bob.
All right, guys. Good afternoon, everybody. It's been a day that where you are, you may be getting drenched. Other places, the sun is still shining. Let's check first warning live Doppler. We've had thunderstorms which have basically produced some hail and some very heavy amounts of rain. They've affected the North Country primarily, although not totally, now running from the Mohawk Valley on through northern Saratoga, Washington County, on through Warren County. Places in there have had nickel-sized hail, including Corinth, Kingsbury, Glens Falls, torrential rain. We've had reports as much as 4 inches of rain a bit earlier in central Warren County, north and west of Lake George. And they track on the storms generally very slow movement, 5 miles an hour or less, so that means heavy rain falls over an extended period of time in one given spot. We also have another storm down south in Columbia County that's moved across the Hudson River, east of Hudson now, and crossing between Philmont and Chatham. That storm likewise containing some very strong winds, but primarily some very heavy rains as it heads on to the east. We are watching still storms firing in the Mohawk Valley, in western Fulton and western Montgomery County. Again, these storms have the potential of very heavy rain and fairly large hail. So again, the main effect from the storms, torrential rain and some hail as they move across the area. We'll keep our eyes on it and keep you informed over the next 90-minute period. Benita.
Thank you, Bob. An effort to block marriage licenses from being issued to gay couples in Massachusetts was just denied by a federal judge. A group called the Liberty Council argued the state's highest court oversteps its bounds when it ruled that gay marriage was legal in the Bay State. The federal judge disagreed, and on Monday, same-sex couples can start applying for marriage licenses.
The effort to raise the spirit of Hudson is once again underway in Hudson. But even if the ship doesn't come up tonight, tours could be running along the river anyway. Dan Bazile joins us live now from Hudson with the very latest. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Jim. Well, it's been 11 days since Spirit of Hudson has been underwater. It's still underwater, as you can see behind me. Crews are expected to raise it any moment now, but meanwhile, the owners are looking at backup plans to make sure that their summer season is not a total loss. The boat was supposed to be afloat last weekend, but unforeseen circumstances delayed the salvage operation.
To bring it up on a more even keel, different bags had to be put in different places, and then when they did get it up a little bit higher, it seemed that it was a little bit heavier than the bags would anticipate.
Lee Bombard, one of the boat's co-owners, says it's taking so long because he wants to make sure the job is done right. Spirit of the Hudson sank on Monday last week. Coast Guard officials say a combination of factors like the wind and the tide caused the cruise ship to go under. Bombard says he's been losing money ever since. He's looking at leasing another boat now to keep his business afloat. Richard Cena, the president of the Hudson Business Alliance, is also trying to help.
What we're hoping to learn from the sinking of the Hudson is that we will now be able to put in a master plan for waterfront development that will prevent something like this from happening in the future.
Cena says the ship started to become an economic glue for the city of Hudson. Dozens of businesses have been affected by it. That's why he was trying to tap into a federal program to see what source of funding is available for the owners as a backup plan.
If it does take a little bit longer to get ready than we expected, well, then we can fall back on leasing a boat or something for the summer or something. But what we don't want to do is we don't want to leave the town or the counties without a boat out here.
Now, Coast Guard officials are concerned now because the longer the ship stays underwater, the worse things will get because there might be some corrosion. Coast Guard officials, of course, have to inspect the ship once it comes out of the water, and that will happen as soon as the ship is raised. Jim?
Dan Bazile live in Hudson tonight. Thanks, Dan. Benita?
The man accused of shooting his girlfriend between the eyes last week is now behind bars. That tops our follow-up report tonight. Olivero Perez turned himself into the Hudson Police Department last night. He's charged with attempted murder. His girlfriend suffered a gunshot wound to the head, but was able to walk across the street to Columbia Memorial Hospital. She was later transported to Albany Med. Perez is in the Columbia County Jail tonight.
In our check of world and national news this evening, Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld made a surprise trip to Iraq today. Rumsfeld toured the prison where U.S. guards are now forbidden to take photos of prisoners. Also today, the New York Times is reporting that a top al-Qaeda commander in CIA custody is being tortured, tied up and repeatedly submerged in water to make him talk.
The people who engaged in abuses will be brought to justice. The world will see how a free system, a democratic system, functions and operates transparently with no cover-ups.
Rumsfeld is now heading back to Washington.
The body of Nick Berg, decapitated in Iraq, was buried in a private ceremony today in Pennsylvania. Berg's death was shown on an al-Qaeda-linked website. U.S. officials say they now know it was an ally of Osama bin Laden, Abu Musab al-Zakari, who killed Berg. The wanted Jordanian militant is said to be fueling the insurgency in post-war Iraq.
With thunderstorms in the area, you don't want to miss Bob's first warning forecast update, and that's coming up right after a quick break.
And at 5:16, we're going to tell you why hundreds of children got free helmets today. And I'll take a look at how exercise protects you from heart disease. It's my special health report at 5:22.
Live, local, late breaking. With Benita Zahn and Jim Kambrich. This is News Channel 13, live at 5. News Channel 13 is sponsored by Old Brick Furniture, Albany, Schenectady, Troy. And by Alpenhaus,